Yes. Oh, what?
Sure. You okay? Probably not. It's all right. Do I even need it? It's good. Mike, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Go. And we're streaming to the League of Women Voters Facebook page, if you want to announce that. Six o'clock.
Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. This is an evening to present the pros and cons for the propositions and measures that you will see on your ballots and you will be voting on November the 5th. Some of you have probably already gotten your Shasta County instructions. We got ours yesterday, you might get yours tomorrow, but anyway, your whole ballot is in here, which is very interesting. So hopefully the information we'll present tonight will be able to inform you about some of these ballot measures. First, a little bit of advertising. We are the League of Women Voters. We are a nonpartisan organization. That means we do not support any party or any person running for office. However, the League has, from the beginning, 120 years ago, been supportive of issues and causes that are important to the American voter. Let's see.
So, Joanne, real quick, could somebody here from the facility come and in the past we've used their Wi-Fi to live stream this, and I'm not getting a signal. It keeps cutting in and out. Could somebody?
Okay.
Here,
Can
come
one of
in.
the ladies come? Okay, Rhiannon's coming up.
Go ahead, keep
Okay.
going.
So this is being live streamed on the League Facebook page. And for those who have friends or relatives that weren't able to make it this evening, they will be able to see this entire forum on that Facebook page. It will be
Yes.
stored there. I want to thank the First United Methodist Church for making this lovely facility available to us. And I would definitely like to thank the ladies from the Church and Society Committee who are going to be feasting us with their wonderful assortment of pies after the presentations are over. Okay, so to get started, what are pros and cons? Okay, pros and cons are unbiased, nonpartisan explanations of state ballot measures to help create an understanding of what are the issues, what is the context for the proposition, and then the arguments for and against. We're going to be starting with our local measures. So there are two local measures on our ballot. Those are measures P and Q. We're going to start with those because they're the homegrown measures. And then there are 5 voter-initiated statewide propositions, and they're numbers 32 to 36. And then 5 propositions which were placed on the ballot by the legislature. 2 laws to authorize bonds, because if the state is going to authorize bonds, the electorate has to vote on that. So those are propositions 2 and 4, and 3 constitutional amendments, numbers 3, 5, and 6. Again, a constitutional amendment has to be voted on by the entire state. So P and Q, which are our local measures, deal with the county charter. And you may recall that in March, Shasta County voted to become a charter county. And that means that we have the ability in Shasta County to do some things a little bit differently than would normally be done under just the state laws and regulations. It doesn't give us free rein to do anything we want, any way we want. There are very specific categories that we can actually propose measures for. The charter, when it was passed in March, I like to think of a charter as a shopping bag, right? So we have the charter, we have our shopping bag, and now we can fill it with things, right? We can fill it with measures or addendums or things we want to do as a county. So, for example, Los Angeles is a charter city. They have 86 amendments in their shopping bag. Now, they've been around for a long time. The first charter county in California was established in 1912. And so they've had a lot of time to put a lot of amendments in their big shopping bag. Right now, we have one thing in our shopping bag, and that was the ability of the Board of Supervisors to appoint a replacement if one of the members of the Board of Supervisors terminated their tenure before it was over. That's the only thing that's in our shopping bag now. P and Q are proposing to add 2 more things to the shopping bag. One thing that I think is kind of interesting is that not only the Board of Supervisors, but citizens can also propose things for the shopping bag. So like any other initiative, if there are enough citizens that rally around a particular topic or issue, then you sign petitions and then you make a formal request to create a measure or addendum for the charter. Okay, so let's start with P, right? So Measure P adds an amendment to the Shasta County Charter that would limit the county's exercise of eminent domain. So what's the situation now? Well, currently, Shasta County follows state laws with respect to eminent domain, which states that the government cannot take private land and give it to another private entity without their consent, even if the taking is for a project for the public good, like a road or a bridge. The proposal in Measure P would ensure that the Shasta County government cannot declare eminent domain and take private land and give it to a private entity without the landowner's consent, even if the state law changes or a new Board of Supervisors wishes to do that. The arguments for, and if you've got your book already, you can see the arguments are clearly presented in here, pro and con. The argument for is that the measure protects private landowners from actions by future Board of Supervisors or the repeal of state laws. The argument against is that we already have a state law that addresses the issue of eminent domain. Measure P's additional restrictions could create more problems than it solves. The charter will only go into effect in January in 2025. Voters deserve the chance to observe how the charter works before they add anything more to the shopping basket. I think it's interesting to see who's for and against P. There are 3 county supervisors that voted to create Measure P, and there are 2 county supervisors that voted against it, and 5 private citizens. As far as we've been able to tell, and the data we have is from the end of September, there were no contributions for or against Measure P. So that's P. That's the eminent domain measure. Okay, now we're going to move to Measure Q, and Pam Crow is going to talk about that.
Okay, Measure Q. Thank you. Okay, so Measure Q is all about appointing or electing people to fulfill county elected jobs if they go vacant. Does that make sense? So right now, the way the situation is now, the board can by appointment fill all vacancies that occur. And the appointees hold the office for the unexpired term of the person they're replacing or until the first Monday after January 1st preceding the next general election. So this proposal changes it just a little bit. This allows the Board of Supervisors to fill a vacancy in one of two ways. One, they can hold an open recruitment, interview in open session of the Board of Supervisors meeting, appoint somebody by a majority vote, complete the usual background check or personnel processes, and if the candidate accepts, he or she would serve the remainder of the term or till the next election, whichever comes first. So that's one way. And the other way would be to fill the vacancy at the next general election or call a special election, which in Shasta County costs about $900,000. So there's that. Measure Q would add, let me see, where do I go? Where's, okay. Oh, on the next page. Argument 4. Okay, the argument 4 is that this will shorten the time an appointee may serve and return the decision to the voters at the next available and fiscally prudent opportunity. The argument against it is that voters have the right to elect people who represent them without changing a charter that is not in place yet. The drawbacks of frequent elections and government disruption and cost outweigh the benefits. They say Shasta County needs a deliberate, intentional approach to charter amendments, which should not happen so quickly. And then, yes?
Can you get a little closer?
Okay. And that and then they asked about the timeliness of this measure, since we don't even have a charter county until January. So that's that. Let's see, 3 supervisors put this on the ballot. Kevin Fry, Patrick Jones, and Chris Felton. Those who are against this measure include 2 Shasta County supervisors and 4 private citizens. So that is huge. There are 14 counties right now in California who are charter counties, including Butte and Dana, which are close by, and will make 15 in January. Remember these things.
Hi, I'm Holland Chase. We're going to endeavor to give each one of the next 10 propositions about 5 minutes time. We've got a timer here, thank you, to try to keep us on track. I will already tell you.
So if you think the Wi-Fi, I don't know. Because this is on.
So, by January 1st, 2026, and then each year based on inflation. Now, before we get in, 15.42% when you take the housing into account of our population living poverty. So, with that, let's get to the situation.